Is that a thing with sport bikes? You rev at one another to try to get each other's attention? Is that what it is? I mean, I just learned the wave protocol, the 2 fingers down. So if there's a sport bike rev protocol, I'd love to hear it. And on that note, I guess it's time to get this motovlog underway. So hello and welcome to the WaltInPA channel. I am Walt, and I'd like to thank you for joining me on this little ride through southeast Pennsylvania. I think today I want to talk a little bit about the Road Apple Ride 2021. It was a group ride that some friends went on just the other week. There were 7 of us in total. We rode from the Valley Forge National Park down to Shady Maple in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, or as we pronounce it out here, Lancaster. And it wound up being a fantastic time. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about the planning aspect of it, because I don't want to say it came together relatively quickly, but it came together relatively quickly, I guess. So it all started a little while back when I met up with Goofy Bastard. We decided to hook up and ride around down in Chester County. When we stopped to chat a little bit, he had mentioned that he wanted to put a group ride together around the same time as VAM 21, so that anyone that didn't go to VAM 21 maybe had something to do around that time frame. You know, it seemed like everyone was having fun, getting excited to do some traveling and some group riding. And for those of us that couldn't make it, you know, it was just a nice little thing for us to do. So he pitched the idea to me, asked me what I thought of it, and I thought it was a great idea. So that's when the planning stages really got started. And the bulk of that planning took place in Discord, which made it super convenient. There's that engine rev again. I don't get it. So everything got started in Discord, and it was a good way to kind of kick some ideas back and forth, because in addition to Goofy Bastard and I kind of floating different ideas, we were also able to float those ideas to the people that would be involved in the group ride, since Discord was pretty much the invitation spot, or that's where the invitations first started going out. So initially we wanted to do kind of a big group ride. We were talking about, I don't know how many bikes were in the initial plan, but it was one of those things where the bigger it is, the more awesome it will be. So if we just put a blanket invitation out there and have everyone come out, we're bound to have a great time. And I think as reality sunk in and Goofy Bastard and I realized that we didn't have any experience planning a group ride, and I didn't have any experience even attending a group ride, that more people did not necessarily mean more fun. So we changed gears and we decided to do invite only, and the magic number that we were hoping to hold was 10 bikes. That would keep the group small enough that we could manage and keep some sort of time schedule going, make sure that we were able to get through all the intersections together, not have to split the group up into multiple segments. So 10 was that magic number. Now, I don't know that 10 really meant anything other than it was a number we pulled out of thin air. So in order to maintain that magic number of 10, what we decided to do was open up a blanket invitation to anyone that was part of the Discord server. So that was me, Goofy Bastard, Frank from Misplaced Motovlogger, Phil, Trekkie Moto, and I don't think I'm missing anyone. And then from there, everyone was allowed one guest. And that theoretically would keep the invite list to about 10 people. So I know I've had a few people ask, you know, hey, why didn't you say anything? I would have loved to attend. It wasn't anything personal. It was just a matter of trying to keep the group size manageable. Again, because neither one of us had any experience running a group ride before. So once we had our invite list, then it was time to start really planning. And the route was pretty simple. We were going to go from Valley Forge National Park, basically down Route 23 into Lancaster, and we wanted to stop at a couple covered bridges along the way. The first one we were going to go through was, I believe it was Knox Covered Bridge, which had no parking. All we could do was just kind of ride through it, which was fine. It's a nice scenic bridge to go through. No stop and picture really necessary. So we went through that bridge. The next covered bridge we went to was Rapps Dam, which had plenty of parking, and that was kind of a good resting spot for us. We could get off the bike, walk around, take some photos, talk to one another, just have a nice little meet and greet after a short ride. From there, we were going to get back on the bikes and travel down Route 23 toward Lancaster County, and from there we would stop at Pool Forge Covered Bridge for some more time off the bike, walk around, take some pictures. Again, covered bridge with a place to park and room to wander around a bit. And then finally we were going to ride down the Shady Maple. Now, on the surface, this seems really simple. We've got a start point, an end point, and a couple destinations in between. But I started to wonder, like, what happens if someone gets separated? What happens if something happens where we're not relying on that tried and true route down Route 23? So I defaulted to all of the stuff that I've learned from Boots and Jeans riders, and I think that Rich and Cake deserve tons and tons of credit here, because the things that they've shared with planning group rides paid dividends when we put this thing together. So I put together a Google document, which I made public to everyone that was part of the group. And in it, I tried to list as much information as I could without bogging people down with too much. So put the date of the event, the title of the event, the time we were meeting, the location we were meeting, a direct link to Google Maps in case you got separated or you got lost along the way. All you had to do was click a link. It opened Google Maps on your phone, and you've got directions to the starting point. I had a meeting time, a kickstand up time, and then I detailed each stop from there. You know, we were going to travel from this location to this location, going through this other location, and again, here's a map, just in case you get separated. I think that was the trend through all of it. Links to Google Maps. Just in case anyone got separated, they were only a click away from GPS navigation. And that was more or less it. You know, there wasn't a whole lot more involved in the planning aspect of it than that. It was just documenting as much as possible without getting overwhelming. You know, and then from there, it was actually making the ride happen, which was, I wouldn't say that was very difficult either. Because Goofy Bastard and I both have Cena communicators, we decided that we were going to handle all of the leading and tail gunning tasks. So on the first part of the ride, Goofy Bastard led the way and was in communication with me in the rear, giving me updates on road conditions, intersections coming up, any hazards that I needed to be aware of. And then on the second part of the ride, we switched, and I gave him that information from the lead. And it worked out really well. I don't know that I would want to attempt it again without Bluetooth communicators, because it just made communicating between the front and the back of the line just so simple. Now, with that said, it was just the two of us on communicators. I don't know how fun it would have been. I mean, it would have been fun to have everyone else on comms, but all of that excess chatter, or all that extra chatter, may have broken down some of the communication between the front and the rear. I think if I were to do this again with a larger group, I might put the lead and the tail gunner on their own channel so that there isn't too much going on and they can communicate back and forth. Now, one last thing we needed to be aware of was we wanted to make sure that everyone rode their own ride and had fun, and that was kind of the only unknown, so to speak, right? So you can't control whether or not people are having fun on the ride. I mean, you can organize it as best as possible, and you know, that's one way to do it, but ultimately people are in control of their own fun. And we didn't want to be in a position where someone thought it would be fun to just rocket on the fuel and blast down the road. So one of the things that I tried to stress in the document and leading to the ride and during the ride briefing was that we wanted everyone to ride their own ride. This was our intention from the very beginning was for this to be a leisurely, laid-back, enjoyable ride for everyone involved. And that also helped with the invitation only, so we had a feel for who was coming when we invited them. You know, there weren't any real unknowns, and I think that helped keep things in check. But in the end, I think that the Road Apple Ride 2021 was a massive success thanks to everyone involved, everyone coming out to ride with us. It was tons and tons of fun. My very first experience with group riding could not have gone any better, and I am eagerly looking forward to doing it again in the near future. And it will be happening in the near future because we are already discussing the idea of putting together another group ride. So I think that's going to about do it for this episode. I'll be including a link to that document that I put together in case you want to check it out and maybe use it as a template for your next group ride. Feel free to borrow as much or as little as you like. So thank you very much for joining me on this little ride through Southeast Pennsylvania. Hopefully you found this this group ride chat useful. If you'd like to support me, the best way you can do that is give this video a thumbs up by hitting that like button, dropping a comment in the comment section, and sharing it with your friends. As always, ride safe, and I will catch you in the next one.